Guys, it's Carissa. I just got home from my appointment. I did see the doctor today, and I think I'm kind of figuring out that I'm more likely to be able to see her if I have an appointment later in the morning, like 8:30, 9, later. And I don't know why it just dawned on me today, and I feel like such a jerk. But I know that there are a lot of women who probably have jobs to get to or places to be, and that they really need those earlier appointments. So since I can start work whenever, I was thinking about it, and it's kind of a win-win for everybody because the women who need those appointments that I've been taking, they can have them, and then I'll be able to see the doctor, or I'll be more likely to see her. So I'm just keeping that in mind from this point forward. But I had to kind of really mentally prepare myself to just stay calm and be flexible and know that today things could likely change, or that I could get news that I didn't like, because not really having any growth from Monday to Wednesday, it wasn't good news to hear. And being that there was only going to be like a day and a half before I would be seen again, I just didn't have high hopes for today. So when she initially started looking on the ultrasound screen, it looked like everything was the same. And, my lining didn't look very thick, and she started to really zoom in on the right ovaries, or the right follicles. My right ovary didn't look bigger to me, and the follicles didn't look bigger. In fact, they looked strange, and there was like a white spot in the middle of what was supposed to be the largest one that was about a 13. And she said, I think that this is a cluster of 3, possibly 4, but, lightening the screen as much as she could and kind of adjusting the settings and really turning the wand and really looking over that ovary, the follicles on it just don't look like they're the same as the ones that we've been looking at all along. Now, what that means is obviously they're easier to see now because potentially they're larger, and before they were just coming up as a tighter cluster. Now they're kind of spreading out because they're getting bigger. And that from person to person, or even the same person seeing the same follicles 2 times in a row, you just see things differently. I've even heard them say, certain machines read a little bit more clearer than others. So I'm not upset about the fact that all along I thought I had a lead follicle and now it turns out I don't, but it's just very eye-opening how anything at any moment can change. And I totally agree. Here, let me give you a visual aid. So let's see if I can do this. The cluster had it looked like one like this, then part of one here, part of one here, and then she even said that there was like a potential 4th one right there. But before that, it looked like, and it still kind of did, but since she really lightened it and she was really turning over and over, trying to see, it looked like this. There was like a white spot in it, and it didn't even seem that defined. It looked almost more like just one big blob like that, with like a white spot in the middle. But the white spot was, thank you very much, you guys like that. Professionally trained artist. So, it was like the white spot was a dividing line almost between the 2 bottom follicles that were kind of behind the big one. But the largest one was about a 9, and they all were about a 9. So I have 4, possibly 5 on that side, and then I have 1 9 on the left. So I have 5, possibly 6 follicles that are all a 9. I am no longer a candidate this cycle for IUI. The only way that would happen is if one of those suddenly pulls ahead and gets much, much larger than the rest of them. But if the others still remain pretty close, I'm still not a candidate. So because they, obviously it's not ethical to put millions of sperm, just send them off towards what could potentially be 5 or 6 follicles that are, you know, close to being mature, they're now looking at this as an egg study cycle. I am grateful. I'm so grateful that that's an option, but I'm scared. I don't know. I guess it's hard to go into an egg retrieval with 6 follicles. Just knowing I have 6 follicles, not all of them will even necessarily have an egg in them. And then the freeze, I could lose half or all of the eggs. So it's nice that it's not just being canceled altogether, but it's not a perfect plan B, you know? Mike gets really excited about it. In fact, he is really excited. He likes the idea of doing the egg freeze study. I don't know. I'm just cautious. I'm cautious all around. So the doctor said, okay, are you on 150 units right now? And I said, no, it's 75. And she said, okay, well, we'll bump you up to 150. I'll make your appointment for tomorrow so we can see how you responded. And she said, tomorrow we should be able to tell if one of them is going to really take the lead or if they'll all just sort of benefit from the dose and they'll all start growing. So she left to go, you know, put everything in the computer for me, and I started getting dressed, and she came back and said, do you want to just get crazy and do 225 for tonight? And I was like, yeah. So tonight I am taking 225 units of the gonal and going back tomorrow and just seeing if anything comes of that. And if everything looks like it's growing on, you know, at the same pace for an egg freeze study, then she said she will bump my medication up to prepare me for that. You know, basically treat this from this point forward like it were an IVF cycle. So that is what is going on. Not great news, but not terrible news. I'm really happy that we have this option and that this is something that, you know, that could be something for us, that could work for us. So that's it. Thank you guys. I'm bombarded with love. I just love you guys so much. You always have the right things to say. And sometimes I just make an update for the sake of being like, here, this is what's going on. Like my last one was kind of crappy and I was a total grump that day, and to be well received when I feel like that much of a grump, it's just so comforting because sometimes, I mean, that night I was just so sour. Mike and I had dinner and I had to go walk around Target by myself for like an hour just to get out of the house and just to get away from everyone and take some time to just not think and wander around. And then I came home to all these really nice messages. So thank you guys so much for that. There's no lack of love in this community, that's for sure. So I will tell you how things go tomorrow. And that's it. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.